I do remember a few years ago reading about something called Bitcoin. It seemed really smart to make a small investment in it because I knew that there was a lot of economic problems around the world. But the process of buying Bitcoin seemed complicated and it was just a passing thing, so I forgot about it. Friggin' last week or something, Bitcoin was in the news and it reminded me of it, and I looked it up, and okay, when I was first reading about Bitcoin and maybe thinking about buying some coins, I remember it was really cheap, like 50 some cents, I think. Then last week it was at $47. It went from like 50 some cents to $47 in probably, I don't know, 2.5 years.
That video is from March 2013, and you're probably wondering, where is she today? Did she buy at $47? And if so, did she hold on? Well, I did some investigating and I found an updated video of what she's doing. But the unfortunate reality is that many of us have stories just like her. She just happened to record it on a video. But how many of us out there saw Bitcoin at astronomically low prices but didn't record a video? How many of us saw Bitcoin at $100, $1,000, or even recently, just this last year, at $16,000? But for those of you that spotted Bitcoin at historically low prices, the first step is taking action and buying. But the second step, which is the most difficult, is holding on through all of the volatile price swings. So what happened with our friend from the 2013 clip? Here's the updated video.
Because I heard about Bitcoin when it was 50 cents. And a few years later, I look at it again and it's $47. Okay, how many dollars is it now? How many dollars is it now? Bitcoin is $54,000 now for one Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin was $77, I want to remind you guys that it's currently $54,000. But when it was $77.00, I'm complaining here that I missed the boat, basically.
So it didn't work out for her. She thinks she missed the boat. But get this, that video was from 2021. And since 2021, there have been multiple buying opportunities for Bitcoin. She thought she missed the boat, but she didn't. And there's people right now that think they missed the boat as well. All she had to do was buy and hold. However, I'm not a huge fan of this general buy and hold concept for all of crypto, because most cryptos in this space, if you buy and hold, you'll eventually hold to zero. This long-term buy and hold strategy only applies to assets with a high probability of long-term value. So with Bitcoin, it's volatile, but in an upward trajectory. And now we have approved Bitcoin ETFs on Wall Street. Bitcoin is 15 years strong and is accepted now by the traditional financial world, who was previously bashing it for years. Bitcoin is here to stay. Now, in my opinion, we are in the beginning of a bull run. Many coins will go up this cycle, and when the cycle ends, many coins will trend to zero and stay there. The way the mainstream will play this is by buying the top and selling the bottom. But if you're watching this video now in February of 2024, I do believe we are far from the top. So right now, it's a pretty decent entry. But for the 98%, they'll only experience the euphoria of the top. And then when the bear market hits, sell everything at the bottom, leave the markets, and then repeat this process again when the next bull run returns. I myself almost became that guy. I first entered crypto on Halloween of 2017, buying some Bitcoin when it was trading around 6,500 per coin. Shortly after, I discovered Ethereum, XRP, and Litecoin. And in just a couple months, I turned $10,000 into $50,000. And I didn't really invest before that. So at that time, I was delusional, thinking I am the greatest investor ever. I specifically remember playing basketball with my friend, and I showed him a screenshot of my portfolio, and he was shocked. And he said, "So you're going to sell it, right?" And I told him, "No, it's going to go up even more." Now I know the moment you start showing a screenshot to your friends, it's probably time to sell. But back then, I didn't know that. And eventually, the whole thing came crashing down. The 2018 bear market set in, and I was back at break even. So all I had to do was wait, and it would go back up. But that didn't happen. Crypto continued to crash, and I was now down from my initial investment. Everyone was exiting the crypto market, and I was about to exit myself, but I was so angry and also curious to know what the hell just happened. So I locked myself to my computer for months, learning about this crypto thing. and read as many books as I could. And it started to make sense. One of the books I read was not about Bitcoin, but about value investing. It's called The Intelligent Investor by Ben Graham, a favorite of Warren Buffett. I learned the concept about finding assets that appear to be trading below their true value, in this case applying it to Bitcoin. And eventually in the long term, if I'm correct about the true value, the price will catch up. So I cut some of my losses. I sold off all my XRP, all of my Litecoin, but I kept my Bitcoin and Ethereum. Actually, I started buying more Bitcoin and Ethereum through dollar cost averaging, buying a certain amount every week regardless of the price. And I did this because I understood I could not time the market. Bitcoin is just way too volatile. So I continued with my dollar cost averaging, and then the 2021 bull market came. And at that point, I learned a lot and I knew exactly what to do. I was able to capitalize on many opportunities and actually take a profit. That was the 2021 bull run. And now we're in 2024 and I know a lot more than I did back then. So this time around, I plan to do the same thing, but even better. I'll show you my strategies in my private community, link down below. And when you join, we'll start off with a one-on-one call to create a custom game plan for this bull cycle tailored to your niche, followed by classroom lessons and live calls twice a week to answer all of your questions. The question I always wondered is, how could something good go down in price? Why does Bitcoin always crash? And through all my research, one of my favorite lessons was from the story of Amazon. I learned that Amazon, one of the greatest performing stocks of all time, experienced multiple crashes on its way to the top. Crashes of 50%, 60%, even 90%. At that point, it was clear to me that I'm dealing with an emerging asset class in the form of Bitcoin. One that shares similar properties of money to gold, but actually 10 times better. And when dealing with emerging asset classes, they're going to be volatile. So I did a deep dive into the history of Bitcoin crashes. In 2012 and 2013, crashes of 57%, 83%, 87%. In the 2017 bull market alone, on Bitcoin's rise from 1,000 to 20,000, multiple crashes, 38%, 38%, 38%. And in the 2021 bull market, Bitcoin crashed from 40,000 to 30,000. It then made its way all the way up to 63,000 and then crashed all the way down to 29,000. But that wasn't the end. It then shot right back up to the $69,000 range. Bitcoin was volatile and still is volatile, but it's a long-term game. When it came to Bitcoin, I wasn't going to be like the guy that missed out on Amazon. Bitcoin is now 15 years old. It's still alive. I don't get those who believe that this is it. Bitcoin is dead. Bitcoin is going to zero. Every time they see a pullback of 10% or 20%, they think that is the end. But this is nothing new. We have seen it time and time again. Bitcoin is volatile, but in an upward trajectory. We saw the painful clip of the woman missing out on Bitcoin at 50 cents and $47. We saw her updated video in 2021 where she thinks she missed the boat, but she didn't. There were several buying opportunities after. It's a special video because we don't have many like it in public, yet there are others just like her who had a similar experience. And I do believe in 2030 we're going to see similar videos. Not about how people missed on Bitcoin in 2013 or 2015, but how people missed out on Bitcoin in 2024.
It seemed really smart to make a small investment in it because I knew that there was a lot of economic problems around the world. And I thought, maybe this is something people will turn to as a safe haven.